What's up, guys? Avi here from Stellar Trades. Today we're going to be discussing CleanSpark. CleanSpark's ticker symbol is CLSK, and we're going to be going through what CleanSpark does, basically a general overview of the company, as well as some technical analysis and sort of looking at where CleanSpark stock is right now and what we're looking at for the future of CleanSpark. So CleanSpark is an advanced software and controls technology solutions company focused on solving modern energy challenges. So what does that mean really? Well, CleanSpark focuses on clean energy and energy analytics, and they do this by developing energy software as well as energy technology to help users have resiliency as well as economic optimization. So CleanSpark focuses mostly on something they call microgrids. And essentially, microgrids are localized groups of electricity sources, such as solar panels, generators, and energy storage assets, such as batteries. So similar to the normal grid that sort of your house runs on, and pretty much every single building or major company or any sort of residential area will be connected to a grid where there's a generator somewhere far off, which is providing energy to this connected grid of houses. And so a microgrid is a little bit different than that, in which a microgrid can operate connected to a traditional grid, and it can also be disconnected or sort of island away from a traditional grid um, as economic or physical conditions may dictate. And this is sort of important, especially recently, as we saw in Texas when the large unprecedented snowstorm sort of took down the entire grid for large parts of cities in Texas, and people they were without power because of the lack of availability for energy from these grids. And so when you have a microgrid, can sort of be offline and disconnected from the traditional grids. So any batteries, as well as solar panel generators and energy production assets that you have, will all be disconnected and won't be affected if the main grid goes down. And so one of their products that they have developed is this thing called the M-Volt, which is a smart power system which provides a single solution for resilient, reliable, and cost-effective energy for residential properties of all sizes. So essentially, what they do is they provide a proprietary solution which helps larger power users and residents obtain significantly lower power costs, as well as maintaining their generation, storage, and load through their software. So let's take a look at that. So the software is called MVSO, or I don't know exactly know how to say it, but what this software does, it actually optimizes and uses big data principles to provide the ideal mix of distributed energy benefits for their customers. So looking at the load that's being taken on by all the residents or people on the microgrid, as well as the energy security and sustainability. Um, CleanSpark software will actually optimize the output of energy to make sure that you're saving money and you have the most sustainable and reliable microgrid so that there is no chance of it sort of going down. And some real use cases for this technology would be in commercial and industrial campuses, retail shopping centers, multifamily developments, as well as neighborhoods and communities. And so this is obviously a very interesting sort of application, especially now in this sort of climate in the market when green energy is sort of the main focus, and a lot of people are bullish on clean energy and green energy. as well as technology and AI companies. And CleanSpark's sort of at the intersection of both of those in that they use AI and big data to sort of leverage their software. And so that's one aspect of CleanSpark. But another aspect of CleanSpark that I'm sort of really interested in is their Bitcoin vertical. Their Bitcoin mining vertical. So let's see. In December 2020, CleanSpark purchased the company ATL Data Centers, which has 3,471 Bitcoin mining rigs. And they purchased this company for $19.4 million. Um, and ATL actually has a huge 48,000 square foot facility, which produces on average 2.2 Bitcoins daily. So obviously this is quite kind of interesting because this is a green energy company which can leverage energy savings and energy cost savings, as well as optimizing energy input and output for their data centers or for these Bitcoin mining centers. And so, based on their technology and the use of their technology, they can actually optimize the amount of Bitcoins that can be mined every day. And they can actually make sure that their um, their Bitcoin mining solutions produce the most Bitcoins possible. And so this is actually very interesting because by using their own technology and expanding into this Bitcoin mining vertical, they they've actually opened up a whole new door for their business. And they have plans to expand power of their facilities and to increase their mining operations, as well as run on 100% green energy for their Bitcoin mining. So it's obviously very bullish for the company, and they have plans to acquire more Bitcoin mining operations in the future. So there's two very major verticals here for this company that could really provide a lot of growth in the future. Additionally, when you're looking at their revenue, they have doubled their quarterly revenue um, year over year, and they've also increased their gross margins, as well as 54% of the revenue came from the energy segment, as well as 13% came from its digital agency segment, and 32% came from its Bitcoin mining operation. So clearly, their mining operation, which they just acquired in December of last year, is already making money for them, and it's already um, showing to be a big vertical for their business. So, in my opinion, the opportunities for the future are endless, and if they keep continuing on this same path, it's looking very bullish for this company. So, something to keep in mind is that they are pre-profit. They aren't. CleanSpark is not a profitable company yet. However, they do have plans to be profitable by the end of the year, and they have plans to as I said before, increase the amount of bitcoins that they produce every day by optimizing the energy inputs uh, that they provide to their miners. And so, if they do this, they're aiming at a production of roughly 6 to 9 bitcoins per day, which would mean that at the price of $47,000 for one Bitcoin, they would be producing 115 million to 150 million in Bitcoin mining revenue yearly, which is that's huge for this company. So obviously, the fundamentals and news-wise, operations-wise, everything does look very bullish for CleanSpark. So now let's take a look at the technicals and see how CleanSpark's doing on a technical level. So pulling up the daily chart, we can see that CleanSpark's actually had a huge growth in the last year. I mean, just 1 year ago, they were sitting at a penny stock. They were less than $1, sitting at 97 cents. And from there, they reached a high of about $42.60 in early January, sort of at the peak of the Biden clean energy, renewable energy spike. And so that's a huge growth, going from $1 to $42. That's insane. I mean, you can't even fathom that sort of growth. But if we're gonna sort of look closer, break it down to the 4 hour, we can see that in June and in late August as well as September, struggled to break that $13.50 level up until right about late November, when we had the big influx of money coming into the green energy sectors as Biden's presidential race sort of became more validated, and as he became the president, we saw this huge growth and spike in the stock price of CleanSpark, going from roughly $13 to a high of 43. So that was a very bullish run, and so we were clearly overbought in this territory, and we cooled off from here, as did most of the market towards late January, reaching the $25 level where we sort of stayed, and we had some fluctuations going up to the 37 level and back down under 30, spiking back up to the 37 level in mid-February, and ever since then, since we've seen the overall market cool off, we really haven't seen that 37 level again. Sort of cooled down and bottomed out at 25, came back up to 30, and we've sort of just been bouncing around in that range of about $20 to $30. We came in this pullback in early March. We actually came pretty close to $20. I think we did reach the low of $20 right around March 7th. So that would have been a really good time to buy CleanSpark. We really haven't seen that level since late December of last year. Oops. So on a technical, from a technical perspective, right now where we at? Well, you can see we actually show this huge, it's pretty major gap down since yesterday. And you might be wondering, why was that? Well, that's because CleanSpark actually released about, let's see, I believe it was about 10 to 11 million shares that they actually sold to raise capital for their company. And they sold these shares at a price of $22 per share. So, so just overnight, we saw, CleanSpark going from about $30 yesterday to a low of about 22. We actually opened right around at 22, and so you can really see that that sale of shares really obviously brought the price down, but that this is actually a really bullish thing, because in the action of CleanSpark releasing these shares and selling these shares to raise capital, they're going to reinvest this capital back into their own company, which will help them grow in the future. So seeing this temporary drop in share price, you might be thinking, oh, well, that's not such a good thing. But this is actually a great thing, because not only does it provide you with a better opportunity to pick up CleanSpark for a better price, but it also allows CleanSpark to raise money for some more of their operations and to grow their business, to grow their Bitcoin mining vertical, to grow their green energy technology, um, to do anything they sort of want to do with that money. But we can see that the 9 EMA has crossed underneath the 50 EMA as well as the 180 EMA, which are both sort of consolidating in this at this 28 level. CleanSpark really likes to stay between this 25 and $30 level. So the fact that we have broken under and that we're at about $22.70 right now is actually very good because along with this overall market cool off, we can snatch up CleanSpark for a really, really good price right now compared to its highs, $43 to from 23 to $43. I mean, that's a solid 50% decrease, So we have 50% of upside above us if we were to buy in at this price right now. Now, do I recommend that you buy CleanSpark tomorrow when the market opens? Not necessarily, Overall, right now, things are a little bit shaky in the market. There's a lot of fear with the Fed making some announcements tomorrow, as well as interest rates, concerns over interest rates and inflation. So I don't recommend that you buy CleanSpark, right now. I would say give it some time, wait for it. There's a clear gap here. Look at the daily, clear gap that needs to be filled above 23.45 all the way up to 28. So that's a solid, what is that? That's a good 20% gap. So eventually that gap will be filled. I don't think it's going to be filled immediately, especially with all the bearishness and volatility that we're seeing in the market. But sooner or later, it's going to be filled. And so I think, picking up CleanSpark at this price or around 23, really under 25 is a great deal because in the long term, I really don't see this company suffering more than it's going to be succeeding. So I can't really give a definitive price target only because this is a pre-profit company. So it's really hard to say how high or how low this company is going to go in the near future. But in the long term, I definitely think we will reclaim this 42 high, especially in the next year. I think we have a solid chance of not only breaking that, but exceeding that level and getting to 50. So I would say CleanSpark is a buy at these prices. Obviously, I would say wait, do your due diligence, make sure that this is an investment you want to be making with your money. Obviously, there's risk with this company, as there is with every other company. But at this price, I would say it's a really, really, really good buy. So that's my take on CleanSpark. That's my overall opinion. Let me know what you think of this stock. Let me know if you're trading this stock or if you're buying this for a long-term hold as I plan to do so. And let me know if you have any other questions in the comments below. Thank you guys and have an awesome day.